Hello everyone, welcome back. In this session I am going to discuss about another renewable source of energy, that is the tidal energy. The tidal energy means what? We will discuss first, and later how the conversion of that tidal energy into a useful form of energy, that is the conversion of that tidal energy into electricity, can be carried out. That I will explain. But first we'll see that one, what is meant by tides. The tides is the rise of water at the seashore. Rise of the water at the seashore, and that is due to the attraction between the earth, moon and the sun. There is a gravitational attraction between the earth and sun and moon, and due to that rise of the water at the seashore taking place. At the mid-sea, if you see that one, the rising of the water, that is in the form of waves. But at the seashore there is a more attraction, and that will be, there is a more rise in the water levels taking place. That is called as a tidal energy. And in few areas these tides are very high. That means about the few meters we are going to get the height of the tides. And if we get the tides height about the few meters, then the rise in the water due to that virtue of the vertical distance, the level position, the energy what is there, that is we already discussed it as a potential energy. Then the potential energy present in the tides at a particular height, that will be tapped into a dam constructed at the seashore. Then whatever the dam constructed at the seashore, the water will be enters into that one when the high tide will be there, and at the low tide that will be goes back through the turbine. Then thereby the power generation will be taking place. Continue watch till the end, and all the types of the tidal energy conversion methods I am going to discuss. At the end of the session I am going to ask some few the hint questions also, and you can answer by commenting that one. Continuing that one, first we will discuss about the principle of tidal energy. As I told you that one, there is a attraction between the sun and moon and the earth. How the attraction will be taking place, how the tides will be formed, the first we will discuss that one. Later we will go for the conversion methods what are there. Those are called as a tidal power plants. Here the tidal energy is a form of energy produced by the natural rise and fall of the tides caused by the gravitational attraction between earth, sun and moon. Tidal current with sufficient energy for harvesting occur when the water passes through the construction such as a turbine. That whenever the tidal water whatever is there, that is passes through some construction, the restricted area such as a turbine, there the causing the water energy conversion will be taking place. This first figure whatever is there, this we can see the earth, sun and moon, what are there, those are revolving in the surrounding of the each other. During that time when they come in front of that particular surface of the earth, the water whatever is there, okay, there the surface will be rises due to the attraction. Okay, here we can see that one, the first one, here the earth is there, and here the moon, sun, all together comes in a one line. Okay, then here the whatever this attraction is taken place between these all three, there is an attraction between the sun, moon and the earth, and due to that the water surface is raised here, and that we can call as a high tide. The water will be raised at the seashore, then that is we can call as a high tide, and exactly right angles to that one. Okay, where the sunlight comes along with the earth surface, okay, there the whatever this water level is there, that will be lesser. Sea water level, that will be lower one, and those we will call as a low tide. Here the combined gravitational pull of the sun and the moon, sometimes the both will come in line, and sometimes only moon will becomes in front of that one, the some rise will be taking place. That also we can explain here. Here earth is there, okay, there the moon is there in front of that one. Due to the attraction between the moon and the earth, the rise will be taking place. When the sun is also comes that one, the tides will be more. Okay, that more height, that one we are going to get. Gravitational pull of the sun, the some height will be lesser one, because the sun is larger distance than the moon. Okay, here the moon, whatever is there in front of that one, rise of the water level in the sea will be more compared to that in front of the sun. And here it will be low tide, and here it will be high tide in front of the moon. Okay, like this high tide and low tide we are going to get when during the rotation of the earth, sun and the moon for the whole month, and that rotation will be changing cyclically. And how that one rise and fall in the water levels will be taking place, that for the whole month we can take here that one, that is a sine curve, by that one we can explain. Here that is for 29.51 day, for 1 month we will consider that one, and here for that 1 month there will be 1 full moon and one new moon and 1 full moon we are going to get. When there is a new moon it is there, then during that time we are going to get the high tides. In the new moon time, that will be high tide, and here whatever is there high tide we are going to get, and that will become lower also. Okay, that because of that one day and night cycle. At particular time, that whatever the high tide for the particular time period we are going to get, and whenever the moon moves away from that one during the day and night cycle, it will be reduces that one, lower it will be becomes, and that whatever the lower and higher is there, that for the 1 day I will explain later, and another sketch is there to explain that one for 1 day high and low tide how we are going to get. In 1 day there will be 1 high tide and 1 low tide, and for whole month the gradually high tide will be there at the new moon and at the full moon, and in the middle it will be go on decreasing and reaches at the lower level. Okay, the tide level will be decreases here. The continuously in the day the up and downs will be there, and lower will be there at the first quarter of the month. Okay, then at the full moon also we can see that one high tides. At the full moon is more high tide compared to the new moon, and here new moon means here there is no moon also we can call that one. For 1 day 12 hours 25 minutes 12 hours 25 minutes will be there between the between the 2 high tides. Okay, in between that one there is a 1 low tide is also there, and again from the full moon it will be tide height will be go on decreasing and reaches a lower at the 3rd quarter, that is called as a neap tide, and this is spring tides. High tides will be called as spring tides. And for this, how the for whole month the high tides will be occurring and the low tides will be occurring, and this particular whatever is there, that is for the 1 day, and 1 day we will consider here. For the 1 day, okay, for the 12 hours 25 minutes, here 1 high tide will be there, 1 low tide will be there. Okay, here more whenever the sun moon will be there in front of that one particular surface area, there the increase in the level of the water will be taking place, and that will be reaches at maximum height when it comes in front only, in front of that. Okay, then after that one, okay, again the moon is moving away from that surface, the tide levels will be go on decreasing, and when the moon is exactly opposite to that surface, then it will reaches to the low tide. Okay, then whatever this difference is there, that is called as a R or tidal range, and this tidal range whatever is there, it is the difference vertical difference between the high tide and the low tide, and that is whatever is there, it is required for the harnessing of the tidal energy, because that will be the head available for the getting the whatever hydraulic energy or water energy is there. Vertical height whatever head is there, that will be depend on that potential energy. Potential energy P can be given as the rho gh. Rho is the density of the water, g is the gravitational acceleration, h is the head whatever is there. Okay, if the head increases, then the potential energy increases. Then due to that one, whatever the difference is there, if it is more, the more tidal energy we are going to get. Then next we will continue that one, that is the principle of the tidal energy. Okay, then how the tidal energy will be harnessed? There are two power methods or two power plants we are going to use for the harnessing of the tidal energy. Those are the types of tidal power plants. One is single basin arrangement. In that single basin arrangement, single cycle system and double cycle system. And in second one, there the double basin arrangement. Basin arrangement. The two basins side by side will be there. Okay, then how the tidal energy will be harnessed? Okay, that is during the high tide. During the high tide, water level in the sea will be higher. Then the dam is constructed at the seashore. That is a wall. Dam means wall, it is constructed. Then there will be sluice gates which are provided due to the higher level at the sea surface. Then the water will be enters through the sluice gate and enters into the tidal basin formed by the dam. The water will be go on storing here, and there is no reverse flow of the water. Only the forward through the sluice gate it will be taking place. Then later, whenever during one cycle, that one, whenever the moon is in front of that surface, the high tide we are going to get. When gradually the moon is going away from that surface and reaching to the opposite side, the low tide will be occurs in the sea. Then during that time, whatever the sluice gates are there, those are set. Okay, then the turbine will be reversed. The turbine will be put on that one, and the water in the tidal basin that is allowed to flow through whatever the turbine is there. Then the power generation will be taking place, and whatever this difference is there, that is the tidal range what we called, that is the head available for the power generation. And here we can use the either sluice gates or we can use the reversible turbine also. Here is mentioned the reversible turbine and generator set. During the forward flow also we are going to get the power generation. During the reverse flow also we are going to get the power generation. That is the reversible turbine and generator set we can use for the power generation. That we will explain by using the single basin arrangement. In that, single cycle and double cycle systems are there. There the forward and reverse we are going to discuss. And here the same, the top view of that one is there. Okay, here the sluice gates are there. From that the water will be enters into the basin or estuary. Then during the forward flow, when the low tide is there, the water will be flowing through the turbine. Then the power rose in that the power will be generated. The next one will take, that is a single basin arrangement. In that single basin arrangement, already I told you that one, there is a single cycle system and the double cycle system. First we will take the single cycle system. In that single cycle system, okay, we will see the water level in the sea, it will be higher one. Okay, that is a higher level is there due to that high tide. Then the water is not there in the reservoir. Okay, then water will be enters through the sluice gates. Through the sluice gates. Here the turbines are not used, sluice gates are used. Sluice gates open, turbine shut off section. Okay, during the high tide, the water will be enters from the sea to the reservoir through the sluice gate, and reservoir will be get filled. And when the low tide becomes, the level in the sea water will be lower. Then the already reservoir is filled that one, and then whenever the tidal range will get, the tidal range head is available for the conversion of the energy. Then the sluice gates are set up, then the turbine will be get on. Then the water is allowed to flow through the turbine. Then the reservoir is emptying, the water is flowing from that one, then enters into the sea water at the low tide. That is given here, sluice gate set, turbine operation section. Okay, here the turbine operation will be taking place. In this one, during one way flow of the water only, the energy conversion or the power generation will be taking place. And this is called as in one cycle only we are going to generate the energy. That's why it's called as a single cycle system. That's a single cycle system. During the filling, there is no power generation. During the emptying only at the low tide, the power generation will be taking place. In double cycle system, what happens that one? Previously what we discussed like that. There is a turbine generator set. There is a reversible turbines are used. During that time, whenever the high tide is there in the sea, then the water enters through the reversible turbine, the power generation will be taking place, and the tidal basin will go on filling. That is high tide. And after that one, the tidal basin is filled, and the whatever the flow is there, that is stopped, then the low tide will starts that one. Low tide will be starts whenever reaches there is a head again. Okay, the head available, that one. Then the water is allowed to flow through this reversible turbine from the tidal basin to the sea during the low tide. During that time also the power generation is taking place. During the reverse flow from the basin to the sea, during that time also the power generation is taking place by using the reversible turbine, that is at the low tide. That is called as a double cycle system. In the two way we are going to generate the power, in the two cycles we will generate the power. That is one of the advantages associated with this double cycle system. Next one I will take, that is a double basin arrangement. Double basin arrangement means what we have taken in the single basin arrangement, that is once while flowing through the sluice gate, the filling of the tidal basin will be taking place, and that is for the single cycle arrangement. Double cycle arrangement, both way the power generation will be taking place. And here instead of that one, there are two basins are built. Okay, that is two basins are built side by side. One is upper basin, another one is a lower basin. Actually this is the lower basin. Here when there is a high tide, the water is allowed to through the sluice gate and it is allowed to enter into the upper basin. Then whenever the sufficient head is available in the upper basin, then the turbine is set between the turbine is constructed between this upper basin and the lower basin. Then the water will be reached to a sufficient head in the upper basin and compared to the lower basin. Okay, and sluice gate will be remains closed here. Then the water is allowed to flow through the turbine and the power generation will be taking place. Okay, during the filling, even though from the sluice gate water is entering to the upper basin, but at the same time the power is generating while flowing the water from the upper basin to the lower basin. Whenever there is a head reduces that one and the low tide will becomes other side at the sea level, then this sluice gate is also opened. Then the water will be starts flowing from this one. Then the head will be maintained between the upper basin and the lower basin. Till the sufficient head is maintained between the upper basin and the lower basin, the power generation will be taking place from the turbine. Then when there is a whatever this head will not sufficient for the power generation, again it will be set off. The water is allowed to, remaining water also allowed to flow through the sluice gate to the sea back. Like this, by arranging the two basins, we are going to generate the power. Simultaneously, while filling the water into the basin, the power generation is also taking place. That is, by using the double basin, we can get the more power generation. Here also it is shown that one. Okay, that is head whatever is the high water level at the tidal basin. Okay, this is the tidal basin, this one, and this is the ocean, that one. The water is flowing through the turbine here, and tidal barrage and load whatever is there, sluice gates also went into flow, allowed to flow of the water in the forward direction and the reverse direction. This is about how the power generation is taking place by using the tidal power plant. As the tides available at the seashore due to the attraction between the sun, moon and the earth, and that is the renewable energy. That's why we are going to use this as one of the source of the power. And here one thing is that as it is freely available from the nature, that is the renewable energy, and it will not producing any harmful gases or pollution. That's why it is a clean energy, we can say. And anyhow, nearer to the whatever the seashore is there, the other sources of the power are not available, then we can use this power from the tidal. Then we can generate the electricity and we can use that. Major advantages of this tidal energy. Then the second, what we can say that one, what are the major difficulties associated with this one? It is very difficult to build the dam or build the basin at the seashore. And even though if you build it, then there is a difficulty for the assessing that seashore for the other applications. The other applications like fisheries, and it may be for the ship movements or any other, that is tourism. For that there will be difficulty for that one. But any other sources, if it's not available at that seashore, then we can use this is one of the power source, and that also a renewable power source, then we can use this one. Then you can comment me what are the tidal power plants are available in our India. That if you mention, then comment in my comment box. And thank you for watching. Comment and share. Thank you once again.